Alrighty then. Yesterday, Midnight's Edge did a little live stream reaction and breakdown analysis, such of episode 3 of Lower Decks. I had to rewatch it because for the first hour mine didn't load. It's one of the glitches with the computers. I'm mainly interacting with the chat in there. And then people say, oh, we have to wait. Okay. And stuff had already got on. It was live first, so I had to go back and reload. And it's, about an hour in, I'm seeing stuff. But I went back and rewatched it. And one, it was nice to see Matthew Kadish, more along my line. It's not that bad. This actually was okay. But, came to rob Robot Shlomo to do his thing, and he started going off on how are the Klingons here? There's no sound in space. It's still, like, Rob? This is what happens when you don't pay attention to what's going on screen. And this wasn't hard to pick up either. They were on an open comm channel with the Klingons. They were very definitely hearing it on the bridge. Notice, the captain's little dancing coffee cup. Therefore, they were hearing it on the Klingon ship, too, through the comm channel. And that's why they're, are you mocking us with this heavy bass thing? And, we're not hearing that at all. No, that's supposed to be on your chat. And then, But, yeah, this is what happens. You need to pay... This one is kind of typical of most of the criticism I'm seeing. The most vitriolic is that... You're looking for stuff to be outraged about. You're so enraged that this show even exists, you're not even paying attention to what's going on screen. You're looking for stuff to go off on. And I've also heard stuff about people, this plays better if you do it at 3/4 speed. You're not watching the episode then. You're watching your version of it, which is slower. I think if you're gonna, that's the personal enjoyment, do what you want. But if you're trying to do an honest review of a show, any show, you need to watch it as it's presented, at the proper speed. You don't speed through it just to get it over with, or slow it down and make it more palatable. You watch it as it is if you're doing a review. Otherwise, don't bother. You're not doing anybody any favors because you're not giving an honest review of the show. And in the case of Midnight's Edge, you're not helping the reputation of the channel. That's for damn sure. So this is a cautionary advisement here, everyone over there. That you need to, one, decompress a bit. And that's what I'm saying, take the show as it is. Stop lumping it in with Discovery and Picard. It's a different animal. And as has been pointed out a lot, it's like, Kurtzman's not the showrunner. He's not making the calls over there. McMahon is. And as Script Doctor pointed out, he's pulling stuff from a couple of years ago from his Twitter feed. That he, and dreamed up his stuff that he'd like to do. And of course he's bringing it back up. Roddenberry recycled stuff all the time. He'd pull up little elements here and there from the lieutenant and have Gun Will Travel, for God's sakes. So there's nothing wrong with that. Any good writer's going to recycle what they know. A little file cabinet, all this little tidbits here. I'm going to use that someday. So that's the first thing there. It's like, if you can't pay attention to what's going on screen, then you're not giving an honest review because you're not reviewing what is actually being shown. Only what you think you saw, I'd appreciate at least, enough potential, at least get the names down, for God's sakes. This isn't that hard. But following on something a little more serious, in the chat, Mecca was going off about how anybody who likes this show thinks black people are inferior and need special help. It's like, excuse me? And I said in the chat, watch how widely you're swinging that broad brush there. And she thought, no, everybody would say, okay, wait a minute. I'm basically being accused of being a racist for liking a Star Trek show. That's how crazy the times are here, okay? And isn't all the ad hominem attacks, you're an istophobe, whatever, because of such and such, isn't that the kind of stuff we're supposed to be fighting against? Not joining in on? I'll tell you, Roddenberry be rolling his grave, but not because of the show, but because of our reaction to the show. We're getting as bad as the people on the other side we're supposed to go up against. That's why I'm, getting hot over this shit, because this is nuts. We're declaring holy war over a cartoon! I mean, friends and neighbors, we are now at the point where I'm agreeing with Kowalski more often than this is nuts, all right? And of course, Kowalski's dancing over like, hey, look, even Captain April's coming over, And only because I followed through on the official stance. We'll take it we'll see what it's like as it is, and I have. It ain't that bad, okay? It's a cartoon. It's played up for laughs a little more. And I do like the arguments that, complain about this show. They complain about that Yogi Bear does not accurately depict bears. Okay? Let's get a grip here, people. Alright? And frankly, comparisons to the original animated series aren't exactly accurate either, because that one really was a direct extension of the original series. They were using leftover scripts that they were planning on using for the 4th season. So it was literally an animated Star Trek show. You had the original cast. You had Roddenberry in there as, Ultimate Veto, there. And Dorothy Fontana as the showrunner. You had most of the writers were, in there for my original series. Mainly because there was a writer's strike on. But animated shows were exempt, so they could actually get work. And bring in, stuff that they had before. Either way, it's why the show won an Emmy for, its best children's program. It's the only non-technical Emmy that show's won. The entire franchise has won. But yeah, it was a serious show, and it wasn't dumbed down for kids. And anyone who says that is an idiot. Those were they only toned down a few aspects, like Kirk getting laid every once in a while, or some of the violence, and the pacing is such that it, under modern standards, the scripts are generally around 40-some pages long. So if you do the typical 1 page per minute, that would come out with commercial breaks about an hour-long show. But just because of the way cartoons are paced at that point. That it came in like 23 minutes. But this is not that kind of show. We need to stop judging against those kinds of shows. It's a sitcom. It's like judging All in the Family against In the Heat of the Night. It doesn't work. All right? And yes, there... I'm just seeing a little bit of over-glorifying the original franchise just a bit. They'd never get out of the Academy. No. We met the occasional, not perfect officer on the Enterprise here. Barclay and a few others that, by your supposed standards, they'd never make it through Starfleet. By that standard, Commodore Decker never would have made it out of the Academy. Finnegan! Well, we don't know what happened to Finnegan, but he was an upperclassman. He didn't get booted, at least when Kirk was there.
He was still an asshole.
But, by that, he never would have been accepted to Starfleet Academy in the first place. Captain Tracy, the most experienced captain in Starfleet, according to Kirk's log entry. And the occasional asshole admiral here and there, Commodore Stalker is totally incompetent by those standards. He never would have made it out of the Academy in their standards, okay? And this was back when Roddenberry was very much in charge of it. So don't give me the crap. It violates Gene's vision. Gene's vision was to make some money. Okay?
Did you calm down before?
Let's be shush. No. Roddenberry's vision was make some money and make a few comments here and there, stuff he felt he needed to talk about. The whole Gene's vision thing didn't morph until years later, and he's on the lecture circuit. And everyone's singing his praises. Oh, the great bird of the galaxy, tell us what, okay. And he started, going on and on about his ideas. But, again, he was trying to make money. And at the time, the lectures, the only thing he was doing to make money. And then Next Generation comes along, which they kind of tricked him into coming out of retirement for that one. Because their plan was Probably not unlike this, the Prodigy thing they got coming out. It's going to be a bunch of kids on this ship. And they, no, I can do better than that myself. Can you? Please? Shit. And that's when he came back. He was pretty much retired at that point because he finally settled his lawsuit with Paramount with Shatner's help, because apparently Mazes wasn't that great a lawyer. Shatner had a better lawyer. They finally opened the books. Okay, and now suddenly he's got the money. He can read. He doesn't have to do the lectures or the cons anymore. He can just get back and okay, finally. But I got a response back from B. Jones. She hadn't seen it yet. They're too busy, rearranging things in the house, get ready for more flooring. They haven't had a chance to see it. But I started, it's like it's going nuts. And it's like, we have met the enemy, and it is us. We have gotten so tied up in knots over Kurtzman and the crap he's churned out. So no, I'm not going soft on his ass, okay? He has a barnacle on the ass that starts to be scraped off immediately. So Emma Watts, go for it, If you gotta, pay him a couple $100 million out of it, pay him his contract, do it. It's money well spent in this case. Him and Bad Robot and Secret, they all need to go, okay? And then, there's plenty of experienced Star Trek producers and writers who'd be happy to come back and fix this thing. And people who are fans of this thing, I'm sure Seth MacFarlane can cram in one more show. Okay? He wouldn't have to be on it. He just has to produce it and write it occasionally. Yeah? But he would definitely provide the right direction. Or Ron Moore, or Ira Bear, any of the people who worked in the past. And also, it'd be good to get it back under Paramount's wing, because CBS doesn't know what the hell they're doing, clearly. But in this case, I think we finally, convinced some of the people that they're not fans of it. No, they are fans, okay? It's pretty well documented. Mike McMahon is a big fan. And people in the cast are big fans. That's why they signed on to this. They want to be a part of it. And we're in the process right now of, trying to get the balance right. Yeah, Orville took like half a season to get the balance right. And they're the same number of episodes. Just like 12, 13 episodes. So we're in the breaking in process here, okay? But when people I'm usually on the same side of, and generally consider friends, start going off on the same kind of bullshit arguments and attacks that we generally associate with the Drekkies and the gushers on the other side, the paid the bots and the paid shills. We got a problem here. We are quickly approaching a day of reckoning, because as pointed out, the numbers for Lower Decks in Canada are going up a bit. It's like the fourth highest rated show on Crave up there, and the only sci-fi show. And as pointed out in the live chat, animation these days, they're using an Adobe program to animate this thing. So it's not like the old days where you gotta do hand-drawn cells and one picture. No, they can animate this in the computer. It doesn't, and they've got all the assets they need for the most part. They don't need to be that high rated to justify being renewed, because that's what's killed shows like this in the Star Trek and other sci-fi shows in the past. Is that they're doing okay ratings, but to justify like millions of dollars an episode, they gotta make at least top 10. Battlestar Galactica was in the top 25 on ABC. And that was doing $1 million an episode when $1 million an episode was a big figure for a show. And Galactica 1980 was kind of a concession price. Yeah, it's okay, but let's try it over here and eliminate the expensive cast. Now we're talking, again, we're talking easily less than $1 million an episode. And that's probably including, paying the cast. So it doesn't have to be that highly rated to be justify renewing it. And they've already signed off for their second season, supposedly. And again, Kurtzman's not the showrunner. They can easily scrape Secret Hideout off of this thing. And suddenly the list of executive producers drops down to like 2. And they can easily keep on going with it because they own the property, technically. And there's nothing in this thing that ties into to Kurtzman at all. Really, not visually. The closest you got is they got a Klingon disruptor from the JJ films in a background bit, and that's not really proven because it still looks like a Klingon weapon. So whatever. Because in the same case, they also got a couple of Orville blasters. So good luck trying that one. But I think it is time for those on the anti-Kurtzman bandwagon to kind of check their anger a bit. And definitely check the ad hominem attacks. Because that's really not helping. It's kind of pissing me off when I suddenly find myself in the target of one of those. Excuse me? I'm a racist? Because I happen to like this show? I'm not seeing any kind of color in this thing at all, as far as, oh, she's black, therefore she must be helped. No, bullshit. I've never thought like that. And I resent the hell of any kind of, even, accidental, association with that. So, kids, let's dial it back a bit here. And again, I suggest the book. I can't get through 5 minutes, and then you didn't watch the episode. If you didn't watch the whole thing at regular speed and actually pay attention to what's going on screen, then you didn't review it. And I don't want to hear a half a review of something you kind of watched. Okay? If you can't pay attention to it, if you can't watch at the regular speed, then don't bother, okay? Now, frankly, I'm not really surprised that Mecca's, dismissed the whole thing. She hates cartoons anyway. And she hates Rick and Morty, so it's like, of course she's going to hate this. And I don't need the I'm trickier than you then about this, they never make it out of the Academy. Again, Starfleet is a very big place. And let's not forget that they just went through a major war lately, and all your best officers are to the left. They're going to be on the frontline ships. Someone's got to man these milk run ships, okay? And apparently, there is a case for me. These guys are good enough to man a ship way in the back, where all they're doing is delivering pizzas and trinkets, following up on a previous mission, just to set up a communications array, okay? I think these slackers can handle that sort of thing. Now, they're going to be trained in case something does happen, at least have a chance at, not being killed. But this isn't their regular duty. They're not out there exploring. They know the protocols, don't they know? But, for the most part, it doesn't matter, okay? So, let's not deify Starfleet, And again, take a page from Anti-Trekker. Gene Roddenberry was not the be-all, end-all of Star Trek. He had a lot of help. And a lot of people threw in their 2 cents worth, okay? That, the Federation. That was Gene Kuhn. The opening narration was John D.F. Black. In fact, the Klingons were Gene Kuhn for the most part. Bob Justman, threw in stuff from the sideline. He should have been given the producer's job for the 3rd season. Roddenberry screwed him over on that one big time. I think Herb Solo threw in a thing here and there, And, of course, all the individual writers. They contributed stuff. Like the Romulans. The only reason they call Romulans is because I think Paul Schneider was a writer. His kid liked the Romans. So they're going to call them Romulans? Yeah, sure, whatever. Of course, Dorothy Fontana pretty much wrote the book on Vulcans for the most part. And moving on, Ron Moore pretty much helped define the Klingons better than they had before. Because prior to that, it's like in David Gerald's, I think it was in one of the books, either Trouble Troubles or World of Star Trek, the Klingons were the descendants of Ming the Merciless. They were the Mongol hordes in space, okay? And that was about the most development you had out of them. So a couple of things I'm kind of a little irritated with. This violates Gene's vision. You don't know what Gene's vision was, okay? And I was like, oh no, true fan. If I hear true fan one more time, I'm going to go off on somebody. Okay? Because who are you to determine who's a true fan, okay? I can certainly question the taste of somebody, but if they're a fan, they're a fan, okay? And I'll do my best to try and, educate these fans. And okay, this is how this happened here. This is, But this whole, you're not a true fan. That's like, what, is there an admission test I need to know about? I've been watching this shit for over 50 years. Tell me what I missed in that intervening time, okay? What did the Star Trek Well Committee not send me, in my various letters to them, And congratulations if you recognize the Star Trek Well Committee. It means you're old. Okay? But yeah, we need to tighten ourselves up a bit here, and and those of us in the reviewing game, pay attention to what's on screen. Watch it as it is. Don't speed it up because you're dying. Oh no, you're not watching it. Just give up on it right then and there, because you're not reviewing the actual episode. You're not really watching it. You're not paying attention. Screw you. Get it off. You're not helping. And with that, PayPal, Patreon, subscribe, start down below. We're doing a live stream on Sunday. Steph?
Yep.
Sunday?
Yeah, Sunday because of my birthday.
Yeah, it's Steph's birthday, so we're going to try and, raise the spirits a bit here and maybe raise a little money while we're at it, too. But like I said, I'll never lie to you guys. Okay? Need some money, need it badly, and again, that's why the link's down below and why I'm going to be hawking for Super Chats. But for now, we'll catch you later.